Hey there, Pop Girlies. How are you?
Feeling really happy or optimistic or radically optimistic.
Wow.
Feeling radically optimistic now that we're in 2025. It's a new year, new new adventures await.
Do either of
And
you have any New Year's resolutions?
I feel like I have some soft resolutions.
I
Like
kind
I
of feel
don't,
that, yeah.
yeah, I don't necessarily have like a, oh my God, this has to happen this year or whatever. But I feel like over the last year or so, I've gotten a little bit more into um like intentional kind of journaling and stuff once the year ends, like a reflection on the year that's passed and then setting some intentions for the new year. So that's I've kind of been into my mental awareness
Wow.
bag, if you will.
You're in your Ray of Light era.
Yes.
Well, on a very similar note, I've stopped drinking as much Diet Coke because it was making my kidney stones
Oh,
horrible. Because
Mm.
as Pop Girlies Nation would know, I did record Chromatica episode with a kidney stone, and I did immediately go to the ER and spend 7 hours there after the recording of the episode. I edited the like graphic on Instagram while I was in my ER room. But anyways, the sodium doesn't do good for me. And the sodium in Diet Coke is especially not good. And especially when you drink three
yeah.
or
How many of those were
four.
you pounding in a day?
I mean, I would finish one of those like 31 packs in like a week.
Oh, I didn't think you drank that much. I thought you were just having them at like,
I love the burn.
wait, 31 in a week?
Something like that. Alex has a few here or there. Alex will have some, but like he'll have like one
So
and
you
And
then
then you
probably have
scream,
like
and then you scream at him.
yeah, and then I throw knives at his face. Violent. But I'm really proud of myself. I'm only like letting myself drink them now like 1 day a week.
Oh my gosh. That's like, wait, that's like steep.
that's
Yeah,
cold
well, because
turkey.
I don't think I need to like completely remove them because I think it's mostly about like a moderation thing. I think
Yeah,
like
for
Right.
sure.
what was making my kidneys develop 8 millimeter kidney stones was that I was drinking 31 Diet Cokes a week. Um,
Yeah, that seems a lot.
oh my God. I just realized that my mom's gonna listen to this and she's gonna be like, oh my God, I cannot believe that you were drinking that much Diet Coke.
You would also get like I learned so much more about Diet Coke being friends with you because you would get like the tall cans.
Oh, the tall
And I
cans are
didn't
the
even
best.
know those existed.
I love the
Diet
tall
Coke tall
cans.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally that's what exactly what it is.
Those are the
Oh my
best.
gosh.
Nothing hits better than like a late night 7-Eleven run and you get like a candy and that tall Diet Coke.
Wait, Drew,
Yeah,
what's your favorite pop?
Dr.
Mr. Pibb.
Pepper.
Not Mr. Pibb?
I mean, I get yeah, they're synonymous. I guess Pib
Well, because
Like
is
I
you
thought
would
you
better.
choose you
preferred
would
Pibb.
choose Dr. Pepper, but you would drink Mr. Pibb out of necessity.
No. It's the opposite. No one ever has Pib besides like Chipotle and AMC.
Mm-hmm.
So I always, when I order, like if I'm getting a soda, I would always order a Dr. Pepper, and then
Yeah.
they'd always go, "Is Pib okay?" And then I like get a lovely surprise. But that never is the case.
You
You want
know
to know
who
who's in?
had Mr. Pibb?
Who?
Denobly Dining Hall, Loyola University, Chicago.
They did?
Wow. I
They
don't
did.
remember that.
That's how I never knew what Mr. Pibb was until Drew and I dined at the Denobly Dining Hall together in college.
Those dining halls, Aleola, any prospective college students, girl,
I
do
don't
not
know.
get a meal plan.
No, I fucked up that ice cream machine in Damon.
Really?
I was probably the reason why it was broken all the time. I loved it.
It was broken
I
all
would
the time.
It was broken all the time and it probably was from me. I I I did not mess
Loud and
around with
proud.
that ice cream machine. I'm loud and proud ice cream,
I
baby.
hated the dining hall.
Most of the time it
Yeah,
was bad.
they don't
But
seem like
something that
you're a
was fun.
gig.
No, I usually like cafeteria food is the problem. Like I always ate school lunch. I fucking love that shit. I did not
Oh,
fuck with the
really?
Loyola.
I never ate school lunch,
Yeah.
so maybe it was the novelty of that that appealed to me because I always had too many
No.
dietary restrictions to eat school lunch.
Mhm.
No, yeah, I did not. I
Levi, as a gluten-free
oh
warrior, I don't know if you experienced this, but this is a PSA to anyone out there who might be in college and is gluten-free. Our dining hall had like a pizza counter where you could like custom make your own personal pizza.
yeah, yeah.
And
Levi
well, so they had it was the personal pizzas, and if you were like, "Hey, I'm gluten free, can I do a gluten free pizza?" It would be probably twice the size of the normal bread on the normal personal pizza. So you would get like double the food.
I don't think I ever got the pizza at Denobli.
Ginobili?
No, but Jordan and I
I feel
did
like I've
get.
been with you when you've gotten one.
Really?
Yeah. I was just about to
Well,
say Levi's done that before.
Jordan and I did get, but then they took it away sophomore year. They had it freshman year, then they took it away sophomore year. They had gluten-free pasta in the pasta stand in Denobli. Like right across from where the pizza was, like you could get like your custom pasta made. Do you guys remember
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I remember that.
I
Yeah.
never did that.
Oh, see, I fucked around with the gluten-free
Oh, I
pasta and
did
then
that
they
all the
took it away.
time.
I loved it. I also was super into salad bars though. I would do salad bars a lot. I had kind of like my like ideal meal at a dining hall was like a sleigh salad and then like a really nice soup. Like Ginobili had this um potato potato corn chowder. There's probably cheddar
Yes.
in it,
Cheddar
but it was
chowder.
so good. I can tell you when I had it.
I
It was like a Thursday night. It was so good.
I did not like the salads at
Thursday night.
Really?
Ginobili.
Well, I didn't really go to
No.
Denobli. I went to Damon. That
Oh yeah, because you lived in Mertz. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because I lived in San Fran for a moment, for a brief moment in time. That didn't work out well. So then I moved to Mertz. Yeah, and
I
I
like
thought
Yeah.
I think Damon was honestly the best. But then I would have breakfast and
Damon
six.
was the better dining hall. You
But
blurs listening are getting the 411 scoop.
full
yeah,
They
tea.
already
you.
know. It literally takes 2 seconds to figure that out.
But Simpson breakfast, and you can't beat Fran. You guys
The
don't know the
lady who
icon
would
legend
like
Oh,
Fran.
the
scream.
lady.
No.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, the lady.
Good
Oh,
morning,
she was
sunshine, baby.
such an angel. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, but the best thing at Loyola was the food court in Damon, not the dining hall, but the food court.
That you could spend your precious Rambler bucks on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rambler Bucks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is trauma. I can't talk about
Yeah.
this.
Enough university talk. I think that was a good chapter for us to encounter and go through.
Hmm.
Okay, everyone, let us get in. La, 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 la. Let us get into our hot tracks. Drew,
Oh my
you have to
gosh.
go first.
Okay. Um, my hot track. So Levi introduced me to a Madonna album that I liked. I was at
Loved. You
work.
said loved.
I did. I loved it. I was working from home and I was like, I need something new to listen to. Like, I need like something. And he told me to listen to Confessions on a Dance Floor. And it was so good. There were no skips. Definitely by far my favorite Madonna album. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna pick. I was having trouble picking what song I wanted. But I think I'm gonna go with Isaac because I think Isaac is the Shanti Ashtangi of Confessions of a Dance Floor. Which, if you didn't listen to our Ray of Light episode, Shanti Ashtangi is famously my favorite on Ray of Light and Levi's least favorite. But to honor the Shanti, I'm gonna go with Isaac. The whole album's really good, but Isaac is my hot track.
I'm gonna follow up because I'm also doing a song from Confessions on a Dance Floor because that has, I mean, it would just be a lie for me to say anything else because that has been my soundtrack of the last like week and a half. For some reason, well, because as I mentioned in the end of year review, Sorry is the greatest song of all time. And I had that song stuck in my head pretty much from like New Year's Eve until like the first few days. And then I was like, I should like listen to the album. Like I hadn't listened to it in forever. And it has been like sucking the blood out of my veins. It is. I mean, it literally is. It's perfect album. It is. It's just top to bottom. The song that I'm picking is "Get Together." "Get Together" is one of the. Oh my God! Do you believe in love at first sight? No, it's an illusion. I don't care. Like it's just like it's such a like a sublime pop song. The melody is it is like really sneaky. It doesn't, I don't think it's like an immediate like, oh my God, this is the greatest melody of all time. But like it just when it like hooks you in, it hooks you in so much. The production is amazing. The production of the whole album is amazing, but I love
Yeah,
the way that the like synths kind of like swirl around you and get together.
this would I think for sure be Maria's favorite. Like easy.
I
Favorite
see
Madonna
Maria
album,
being a
period?
jump girl.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, oh,
You're
oh, oh, oh.
so gonna it's Jump is gonna be Maria's favorite.
jump, you're gonna die at Jump, Maria.
I'm so excited to listen to it. Like we'll have to
Well,
expedite the episode for that album. Like
Drew
should be
and
soon.
Levi have been begging Maria in the Pop Girlies group chat to listen to it, and we have been met with nothing but silence and stones.
Almost. Oh my God. I mean, admittedly, and this kind of goes into my hot track, but like I it's like I've been so scatterbrained in the last like week and a half. Like just getting back to like normalcy after the holidays and everything has just been like so crazy for me. And it's like I feel like over the last couple episodes I've just been like I haven't really been listening to a whole lot of music, which is true because like a lot of the times if I'm like getting super busy, then like it feels overwhelming to like make a choice of what music to listen to.
Right.
So usually I'll just like listen to like old Twitch streams or just like of people talking so I can just kind of hear something but maybe not necessarily like intentionally listen to it. So I haven't listened to Confessions yet because I want to make sure I'm in a very intentional mindset when I do listen to it. So that's like my vibe, but really the only music that I've like had space in my brain to like choose to listen to has either been FKA Twigs or has been like I chose on my daily mixes from Spotify the other day and it was all very like Chapel, Charlie, more like poppy, clubby kind of stuff. And there was a song from an album that I started listening to last year that came out last year that I never ended up finishing, which is called In Waves by Jamie XX. And he's kind of known for being like somewhat of like a clubby kind of plunderphonics like sampler kind of guy. And his music's really cool, really upbeat. Um, but my hot
You
track is
said that
going
in
to
the exact same way as I like the beat.
I like the beat. I did. But okay, so my hot track is going to be the song off of this album that's called Life that features hold for applause and anticipation, Robin. And it's
Wait, I've
really good.
literally I heard someone talking about this song
Are you
yesterday.
serious?
I am literally it was like something random and it's someone that I will never be able to track down who it was because I was like, wait, I heard this artist, this XX or whatever. And then
Yes.
someone said Robin in the thing and I was like, oh, it's gonna bug me so hard who mentioned it.
No
Oh
way.
well,
That's
it's fine.
so
I just gotta
funny.
find it.
Yeah. Well, the song is so good, you guys, and it's so fun. So I really want to know what you guys think. But the Robin of it all is just like such a hoot. And some of the lyrics in the song are so kooky. So, yeah, but it's a really fun one. So that's gonna be my hot track. I was lucky to like stumble upon it because again, I was like in a space where I wasn't really wanting to like intake new music, and that one found me, and I'm glad it did.
Work.
Well,
Work.
you know what? I'm just like talking about the dining halls and the hot tracks have just made me like, I don't know the right term, maybe like radically optimistic about the rest of the episode. So, do you think maybe we should get into it?
I think
Yeah.
we should get incredibly optimistic and start off the year with some radical optimism.
Well, then, Maria, take it away.
Take it away.
Yes. Okay. Well, if you guys haven't already guessed, we're going to be talking about Dua Lipa's Radical Optimism, which is her
What? I didn't, would never have guessed.
holy cow. I know it's crazy. So, yeah, we're talking about it. It's her third studio album, and it came out in 2024, May 3rd, 2024. It's a pretty short album. It the runtime ends up at about 36 minutes and 35 seconds. So kind of a nice little bite-sized album, which I think is kind of fun. Um, and yeah, it's got 11 tracks. This is an interesting one too, because like I feel like within just stan culture in general and online conversations, because of the massive, massive success of Future Nostalgia, which is Dua Lipa's second album that came out in 2020, right at the peak of COVID. That album was just met with such a massive success because I think people kind of reveled in that album being really fun and poppy and being meant for a dance floor and just kind of, let's just say, held space with that and just like made it a fun moment during COVID where we couldn't like see people or interact with people and whatever. That album was just met with such crazy success that I think it's just organic that whatever she followed it up with would, in comparison, not do so well. So people online have been calling this radical floptimism, which again, if you compare it, it flopped. Let's just say that.
I've
But
seen it, yeah.
I've seen it, yeah. But all things considered, really great album and was met with mostly positive reviews. So the aggregate score on Metacritic is a 73, which is higher than I thought it would have had, to be honest.
Wait, do you know what Future Nostalgia is?
Like 88, I think.
Yeah,
That's
something like that.
crazy.
Because I think it was the same as Folklore, which pissed me off.
Oh,
That is actually kind of crazy.
that's crazy.
So yeah, so it's got a 73 aggregate score, and then on Pitchfork, they gave it a 6.6. And if you can believe, they gave Club Future Nostalgia, which is the remix version of Future Nostalgia, a 6.9.
That's so crazy.
So they rated the Club Future Nostalgia higher than Radical Optimism, which is just so funny to me. But if you guys haven't listened to all of Club Future Nostalgia, it does incorporate the percolator. One of the songs does incorporate the percolator in the remix. So it gives a
Immediate
little
9.9 from Maria.
immediate 10. Which I will say, we were at Scarlet over the weekend and we got to hear the percolator. So call back to
We
episode one
did.
if you didn't listen to episode one. Go back to episode one. So, for the producers of this album, there's a lot of people noteworthy here, especially starting off with Kevin Parker of Tame Impala, who Dua Lipa said in her interview with Zane Lowe for Apple Music, always, always, always wanted to work with Kevin Parker, and almost kind of manifested it. It seems like something that she kind of just kept saying to herself, like at some point in my career, when the time is right, I will work with Kevin Parker, which I think is, good for her. So we have Kevin Parker, Danny Harl, Ian Kirkpatrick, and Andrew Wyatt. And the album itself, when it comes to genre, kind of dances around between dance, pop, psychedelic pop, according to Wikipedia, which maybe I think is a little bit of a stretch, but I understand where that's coming from. Electropop, Europop. I will say, and I feel like a lot of people kind of echo the same sentiment, but I think this album had a very misleading promotional cycle before it came
Horrible.
out, even like up to a year before it came out. Because she did an interview for Rolling Stone, like at the very top of 2024, where she was kind of giving all these wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like here's what the album's gonna be like. And she's like, this is gonna be like trip hop, Brit pop, and I'm super influenced by like Massive Attack and Blur and Gorillaz. And I'm like, oh my God, so this is going to be the coolest pop album of all time by Dua Lipa. Oh my God. And then none of these influences, in my opinion, are really anywhere on the
No.
album. Like,
No.
I can try to understand what she's talking about, but that kind of sentiment literally makes me think that at that point when she gave this interview, they had a completely different album and then completely changed the entire body of work until when it came out. Because like that's so misleading and none of that is present anywhere on the record. So it's just crazy, crazy, crazy. So again, I think there's a lot of things that kind of go into this being like a quote flop. But yeah.
If I could also chime in real quick,
Yeah.
Kind of on top of that, Forbes, before the album came out, and I believe it was before Houdini was released, just when like people were aware that she was gearing up for a new era, called her upcoming record the British Lemonade,
Yeah, I remember that.
which just did not need to be said. That's doing
No.
nobody any favors.
Why
Yeah.
would you? No.
Like,
That's
just why would you
insane.
say that? I don't even understand, like, why would you say that? Like, what about Dua Lipa makes you think that she's delivering an album like that's just not what she does.
No.
No.
No. Wow.
So it's like if
Um,
you say that, like expectations are gonna get really, really elevated. And then if you are
Yeah.
talking about very specific genre, touch points and inspirations, and then said genre touch points and inspirations are nowhere to be found in the album, people are gonna be like radically confused.
yes.
Well, and also I think a huge part of that is like the whole, at least how I was perceiving it at the time, like the whole her working with Kevin Parker on she was like adamant that he was on every song. And so it's like, oh, like this is going to be a completely different thing because
Then
he's
future
producing the
nostalgia,
whole
yeah.
thing. Um, yeah, it was, yeah, a little
Insane.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will say though, despite the body of work not really matching all of these really high and very interesting expectations, I still do think what is within this body of work is really interesting and I think is really cohesive regardless of all of those preconceived notions. And it's just kind of funny because I feel like this album kind of goes into um what I would kind of lump as like vacation albums or albums that sound like something that you like indulge with while you're on the beach or on some sort of vacation. It's kind of like what I was saying about Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter in a way, where it just sounds very summery, very like aquatic almost. So I feel like this kind of goes into like that category in my brain of vacation albums, which I think is also funny because Dua Lipa's very much known for vacationing because she's always got her photo dumps on Instagram and she's always on vacay. So this is a vacation album. And I would say as far as like the actual songwriting and lyrical quality of the album, I would say this is a really emotionally intelligent album. A lot of the lyrics kind of delve into her previous breakup plus kind of her entering a new relationship and wishing the other person well and hoping they get all they want into their, their future relationships and all this sort of stuff, while also being excited to kind of indulge in this new chapter of her life and just kind of, championing herself for kind of growing up a little bit and maybe not taking, the same crap from guys that, maybe she used to entertain. Kind of in songs like Training Season, that's kind of what I'm thinking about because she's like, I don't need to learn the same lessons I've already learned from all these crappy guys. I know what I deserve, and I'm gonna go get that. So I think the album itself is like very emotionally intelligent. So I think this kind of makes this album a more sophisticated body of work than her other albums. Um, but not that that's like any sort of bash on her other albums at all. But I just think it's cool to, and it's kind of same with like Short and Sweet to even tie it back to that. I think that's another album that comes across like as from a very emotionally intelligent place of like, yeah, this is what I want in a relationship, so that's what I'm gonna get, that's what I deserve, etc. So yeah, I think for the lyrical quality of this album, I think that's really cool. Um, but yeah, that's really my background on it. But yeah, the really like what to know as a listener, if you don't know a lot about Dua Lipa, is it's really her exiting a relationship and then kind of the in between and then entering a new one with obviously radical optimism. So there you go. But would love to hear your guys' thoughts or any other tidbits that you guys would like to add.
I think Drew should go first.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I really like Dua Lipa. She's like a huge artist for me. Um, my first kind of exposure to her was actually I went in college. So I think this was like 2018. I went to one of like the Jingle Bashes, um, and saw her perform there and was like, oh no, like this girl is not um she's not having it, or like she's not wanting to be on the stage because she wore like a mini dress with like straps that hung off, and the whole time she was performing, she was just holding her microphone and adjusting her straps. And so it's like, ooh, this poor girl, like she can't get it together. But then it was so cool to watch Future Nostalgia come out and I have this huge kind of breakthrough, but then her also do a complete 180 crazy with the like her performance. Like she really brought it with that. So it was really cool to kind of see her trajectory from when I saw her in 2018 to that. Um so yeah, I really loved Future Nostalgia. And I really loved the tour. Maria and I went to the tour in Detroit, and it was like, what year was that? So that was 2022. Yeah,
Yes.
2022. And that was like my favorite concert that I went to that whole year. It was so cool. She did such a good job.
Yeah.
Um,
Shout out to Drew's favorite place on earth, Little Caesars Arena in
yeah,
Detroit, Michigan.
we're talking to the architects for Pop Girlies Stadium.
Yeah.
Also famously the only concert I've ever been to in an arena where I've had to wait in line in the men's restroom. Um, I also yeah, so I had a lot of hope going into this album, and yeah, I remember being at the dentist when Houdini came out because it came out on British time, so we got it like after work, and I
Yeah,
listened
like
to it and I was
really
like,
easy
oh,
going.
this is amazing, like I really like this. um and but it was kind of weird because Houdini to me, while it was really good, it did not feel like first single to me. um and it didn't really like deliver in like performance. But I loved the song and I loved the video. So that was kind of where I kind of started with it. I was like, okay, like the promotion of this is kind of a little wacky. Like, I'm not really sure what she's doing here. Um, so it kind of with the other singles too, I was kind of like, okay, it was kind of a hard thing to talk about because I loved all of the singles that had come out. So it was Houdini, and then Training Season came out before Radical Optimism, and then Illusion was the single when the album was released. And I was just a little like, I think exactly what we kind of touched on at the beginning, like the whole idea that we were getting a different kind of sound, also coming from her breakthrough. You would think that she would have shifted sounds. So, yeah, it was kind of weird. It was kind of a weird time to be like digesting all of what was being released, to be honest. But I actually, now in retrospect, am like, I really like it. Like, I kind of, now that we're not living in the whole promotional part of it, it kind of really works for me. Um, Yeah, I think you just have, especially like if our listeners haven't listened to it, if you go in with no expectation, I think it will like really deliver. Like I personally, I think this is better than Future Nostalgia just because I think it has, like I think Future Nostalgia does have a lot of skips. Like there are songs that I don't really listen to on Future Nostalgia, and this I could press shuffle and I would probably listen to anything that I heard. Um, So yeah, really interesting. I think what this album does that Future Nostalgia doesn't do as much that I think works for this is you get kind of what Marie was saying, like you get more emotion from her, like especially in songs like These Walls and Happy for You and Anything for Love. I love how she's kind of, I don't really know, were there like sad songs on Future Nostalgia?
Boys will be boys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that was it, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is a more cohesive work that she's put out. Yeah, and I love like the visuals of it too. I wasn't a huge fan of like the music videos, but I love like the kind of aquatic feel of it, like with the water and yeah, I love the album cover. I honestly like I love the thing that she did with her hair. I love the red hair too. Like it's just kind of weird. It's like it's almost like a double-edged sword because there are some things that I think she nailed with like the promotional aspect. Like I love how she like changed looks. I think that the singles were good that she put out before, but it just kind of sucks that like while all of that was happening for her, she was also delivering like weird interviews, kind of giving us a weird kind of expectation. So I wish going into it, there wouldn't have been any expectation. I kind of wish she would have just dropped this all at once with no singles. I think that would have been the best way for her to do it. Maybe like tease it with the hair. Um, yeah, I don't really know. I don't, if you guys want to chime in, like, I don't really know what the best way to have promoted this would have been.
I mean, I personally really like Houdini as a lead single, but I think it could have been a like the sole lead single. Like I think if we left Training Season and Illusion for the album, I think that would have been totally cool. Like I would have been content with just one lead single if it wasn't released like so 'cause
Yeah,
I
because it
mean,
came out in like November and then
yeah,
the
like
album came out
November
in
of
May.
23. Yeah.
That was
So
also a
like
miss.
yeah, so it was just like, why did this happen so soon? But I personally think Houdini is like a very cool like palette cleanser from future nostalgia into a new era. And kind of just like sets the stage really cool, even if like some of the album only kind of sounds like that. But yeah, I definitely see what you mean though, where it's like this could have been a lot
Yeah.
different. So
For me, I
Well, and I
think the
also,
biggest
yeah.
flaw is the length of the promotional cycle. There's
Yeah.
no reason why a lead single needs to come out in November and the album comes out in May. It's honestly, I think, unfair to the audience because you're just kind of edging them unnecessarily. Like they want the music and you keep teasing them and then you're just not giving them anything. And I think that also contributed to people's feelings of disappointment when the album actually came out because I it's not a long album. Three of the songs had already been released. Like it's just I think she would have avoided a lot of disappointment in the fans if the album didn't take that long to release. And I agree that
Totally.
it's definitely a summary album. So then like why don't we just not release Houdini in November? Like why don't we just save Houdini's release or whatever the lead single is until maybe February? And then you have more of a traditional like 4 month cycle or something like that.
Well, and it was because she released Houdini, and then on the Grammys, I remember she had the opening performance slot where she did Houdini, and then she teased Training Season, but it hadn't been released, which was also a huge miss too. Because after I watched her performance, I was like, "Oh my God, I want to listen to that song," and it didn't come out till like a week after she performed it. Yeah,
yeah.
but it sucks because the performance was so good. So I was like, "Dang,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're
And
right though,
it's
Levi. I think she needed to have done it in the year at least."
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just so kooky too, because like I would say everything up until we discover what the album cover is and what the album title is, the whole vibe of everything was like very industrial,
Yes, it was
in my
darker.
opinion.
Yes,
Like
agreed.
a little bit more edgy, a little bit more
She could have done Sweat Tour.
sleek. So it's, huh? Oh, Sweat
She
Tour,
could have
yeah.
done Sweat Tour, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like everything had this like very specific and very consistent vibe. Like I'm glad you brought up Drew like the performance at the Grammys where it's like all of her and all of her dancers were in black and they're in this like metal cube situation that they keep climbing and it's all very like edgy
Yeah,
and
it was so
intriguing.
good.
Very cool. And then the entire visual concept of the album
Just
changed when
shifts
we get the
completely.
cover. And then
Yeah.
it's like this whole photo shoot of her on like a rocky beach and underwater. And it's like there was I it's like I just want to know what the universe looks like where we got this album that has a through line of this like industrial feel and vibe and visual and it all is cohesive and makes sense. Eh, so weird.
Well, and there are
No,
also a lot of tidbits that they kind of teased like behind the scenes. Like, I
Hmm.
don't know if you guys saw, like, I saw something from like multiple sources saying that she had a video for one of the singles that was like multi-million dollar budget and she didn't release it because of like the war that was going on. Like, she thought that it was going to like promote like hate speech and like unsafe thing. I don't know if it's accurate, but I did see it like
Oh,
multiple times. But
oh,
then I'm also like, I don't know which song she was gonna have be a single. Did any of you guys see that?
no, I
no.
didn't. I didn't see
Oh,
that.
I was on the weird do a stan algorithm.
Yeah, no,
And
I
then I
didn't see
also
that.
saw that she was trying to do stadiums for last summer, and then she didn't do that, which does make sense because
Good luck
the
booking those
tour.
stadiums that you speak of.
And the thing is, though, it's like, radical optimism, this and that. But then Drew and I go to get tickets, and
Yeah.
every person on planet Earth was in the queue. Like, there was a crazy demand for Dua Lipa, and
No,
everyone's
she
like, her album's
honestly like
flopping.
because the two shows she's playing two shows at United Center, sold out in like literally 2 seconds. Like I
Yeah.
literally could not get them. So like she could have done the stadium probably. I don't know. Because that's at least like what, 40,000 people?
I don't know, off the top of my head.
Like there's probably like 18,000 in United Center. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was strange. The whole promotional thing is just such a miss. It honestly reminds me a lot of Witness.
Mm.
Oh, that's not a comment I'd want to
Well, because the
receive.
whole like she's coming off of like the biggest kind of pop stride, changes her hair, puts out a single that flops,
And then another single that flops, and then
tries to
another
be a
single that
little more
flops.
conceptual.
Hmm. You're kind of
That's
Houdini for saying that.
that's interesting. That's not a
I
comparison
see
I
it
would
a
come
lot
up
that way.
with because I think sonically they're very different, but I completely see what you mean. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
actually is a pretty apt comparison for a lot of
And
what's going on here.
because a lot of Katy Cats would probably say that Witness isn't that bad. And I personally think Radical Optimism is my favorite Dua Lipa album. So I think it is kind of a fair comparison. But yeah, catch Marie and I going to the tour. We'll see how the visuals shift then, because
Yeah. Oh
Maybe
my
it'll be
God. I
like a
can't wait to
safari
see.
theme by then. She'll like
yeah,
have done
well,
industrial and then she'll go to the beach and then she'll be like, actually, I need to be in the desert with the animals.
since Future Nostalgia, and she did like a few festivals after Radical Optimism.
Yeah,
Radical Optimism.
she
They have looked so fun.
so
So I
cool.
think it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, she did like a smaller UK tour and then she headlined Glastonbury, which was like also one of her crazy manifestation dreams. So it's like, okay, maybe the album's like quote unquote flopping, but it seems like Miss Dua is literally crossing every single thing off of her bucket list with this album, which is so cool. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah,
Anything
no,
else, Drew?
something we haven't talked about, Miss Maria, that there's literally a song called Maria on it. Did
Well,
you want to like,
yes.
oh, okay, so you'll get there.
I'll get there. I'll get there. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it for me. I think that's all I kind of wanted to touch on, and then I'll get more when we're doing the songs. But yeah, I like the whole thing. So yeah.
Oh,
Well, thank you.
okay. Well, Dua Lipa is not for me. I'm not her target audience, and I recognize that completely. The kind of music that she makes is not the kind of music that I choose to listen to if I'm listening purely for my own enjoyment. I recognize that, like, I think she has a really great ear for pop melodies and hooks. I think that she's incredibly hardworking. She puts in so much work, which I think there are pop stars that don't do that, that she works her butt off. And I think she should be recognized 1000% for that. I think her voice is very interesting. It has a very distinct tone. Like, it's Dua Lipa singing kind of the second that she opens her mouth. Like, if you are out and you hear the radio, like I think it would take you a few seconds to be like, oh, that's Dua Lipa, because she just has a pretty like unmistakable vocal tone. I really appreciate her like photo shoots for album. I think she has a strong visual eye. I think that she like commits a lot to, well, in Future Nostalgia she did. I would say that she committed a lot to like a cohesive look, which I don't think ended up happening with Radical Optimism. So it's all to say, it's like I recognize why people love Dua Lipa. You know, there are songs I will like lose my mind to if they play at a club and I'm there. It's just not the kind of music that I seek out myself. And it's not that I don't like dance music. I mean, I was just talking earlier in the episode about Confessions on a Dance Floor, which I love that album. I think that for me, Dua Lipa. And I don't really think she wants to be this either. I don't get a lot of personality when I listen to songs. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because I don't think she's trying to be this like distinctive personality the way that Taylor is. Like Taylor becomes a character almost in her songs. I don't think Dua Lipa's trying to do that. I think Dua Lipa's trying to make people dance and make people feel good. And that's great. And I know that for a lot of people that is what they want. For me, that's not what I want. And even with like upbeat, bombastic, dancey pop songs. Like I want some more personality. I think a great example of that is Chapel Roan, who we talked about last week. She's a great example of somebody who I think delivers consistently fun, dancey music, but she has so much personality and those songs are unmistakably hers. So I just kind of want to preface that by saying I'm not particularly invested in Dua Lipa as an artist. I respect her and I think she's very talented and very hardworking. It's just not the kind of music that I choose to listen to. So going into this album, I don't think I really cared that that much to listen to it. Drew and Maria had to convince me to listen to it when closer to when it originally came out, probably like sometime in like May or June. And then revisiting it for this episode, I'm going to be honest with you. I do prefer Future Nostalgia quite a bit to this. And Future Nostalgia is like not an album that like I love, love, love. I think in retrospect, in comparison with this, I like it more than I probably did when it was originally released because for me, Future Nostalgia sounds so much like an album. Like it really sounds like a whole body of work. I think that there's a very clear concept throughout that album. I think it's in the name. I love that name too. Future Nostalgia is such a good name for an album. And this like idea of like taking old sounds and then like putting them not only in the present but in the future, that like sonic combination that she does pretty much throughout the record. uh it makes everything feel so tight and feel so much like a whole. And listening to Radical Optimism a few times, to me they just feel like a collection of songs. I don't really get an album from this, and it was really interesting hearing Maria talk about her take on kind of the lyrical content and the thematic content of the record. Because and it's not for lack of trying, because I was listening with the lyrics up, I listened multiple times. I don't get that. Like, I don't get a lot of connections through these songs. Could certainly like see that there's a maybe a similar vibe, but to me, nothing really congeals together. It doesn't feel like a body of work in the way that something like Future Nostalgia does. And so I think coming off of something that was so tight and cohesive, having something that maybe doesn't really fit perfectly the way that the last one did, I don't think is doing it a lot of favors. Uh, I also think that so the sound that she landed on, it's interesting because obviously we touched on her talking about all these different influences that she wanted to have. And, I think the idea, well, first of all, Danny L. Harl, is it Harl or Harley? Is that how you say his last name? Is it Harley?
I'm not 100% on that. I'll be
I'm
real.
not sure. But anyway, he's a producer I love. He is one of Caroline Polachek's main collaborators. And he's such a distinctive, interesting producer. And then obviously Kevin Parker is so incredibly talented from Tame
Wait,
Impala.
could I also say really quick, just
Yeah.
something that just I popped in my head really quick. I remember though when it got announced that she was going to be working with Danny on this album, and then Twitter exploded because everyone's like, "Oh my God, we're going to get Dua Lipa making Pang."
No, and
And then
so
obviously it
for
wasn't that.
me, that's what I thought. Like I was like, oh my God, we're
Yes,
getting like her doing art pop. Like
right.
actually, like we're
Like
getting
the
her
genre
doing
art pop.
the genre art pop. I
Yeah,
would love to hear her do the album art pop. I think she
right.
would be amazing on that.
Yes,
But
act like a swine.
so like that's all it's one of those things where I think the people involved are very talented and very interesting. And I think that she has such a great because like that's undeniable. I think she has such a great knack for melodies and her melodies have such a consistent feel throughout her songs, even as her collaborators change that they're hers. Like she has such a great ear for like what a good pop hook is. Um, and then like her talking about the 70s vibe and the psychedelic vibe and trip hop, like that was kind of different than what I was anticipating just based on the collaborators. But then I was like, okay, that's also really cool. Like somebody who was doing, really synth heavy 80s disco is now going to be doing something that's lighter and breezier. And for me, one of my main issues with the album is that it's like too much and not enough because it's a step away from future nostalgia, but not a big enough step to like sound completely different. Because I think Houdini sounds like it could be on future nostalgia. I think Illusion to me sounds like a few like that sounds like what's the song that it sounds like? Is it Hallucinate? The is that
Yeah, yeah,
Hallucinate?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah
yeah, yeah. What you
the way that she
doing?
yeah it
Yeah.
that to me sounds exactly like a future nostalgia song. I just don't think that there's enough distinction from the sonic territory of future nostalgia to make this feel like a radical departure, if you will. But then on the flip side, like it's having it be so similar to future nostalgia, but then like not hit in the same way, just makes me kind of long for future nostalgia. Um, so I feel this is honestly a problem that I had with another like anticipated follow-up album, 25 by Adele, the follow-up to 21. To me, that album is another case of like kind of muddled concepts and ambitions because I feel like she was trying to branch out from the 21 sound, but like not too much. And the result kind of feels a little half-baked in my opinion. And unfortunately, that is the impression that I get with Radical Optimism. That's not to say that there aren't things that I like. I don't think any of these songs are bad, and I do think that there are bad songs on Future Nostalgia. It's just I don't think the highs here match the highs on the last record. But I don't think there's a bad song on here, and I think it's a very pleasant listening experience. It's not an album that you have to think hard about or like set aside time to listen to. It's like really great like listening music, which sounds like it's shade, but it's not shade. Like that's actually a quality I like about it. I was playing it yesterday while I was working, and like it wasn't distracting from my work at all. It was just nice kind of atmosphere to exist in. I think that my favorite moments on the album. She does a lot of stuff with the background vocals. Like there's a lot of call and response throughout the record, which I love. And I always longed for more of it. I thought that element was so cool. I thought the way that like her voice played with this kind of like background vocal character was really interesting. I appreciated like the addition of acoustic instruments since obviously Future Nostalgia I don't really think has any. I don't think it has any acoustic instruments. Um, I don't know where it would. So there's certainly like a lot of things that I like. And, I think that there are attempts at like playing with song structure here. Like a song like Anything for Love to me feels like experimental in the way that it's structured because it kind of it starts as one thing and ends as another thing. Um, so I think I guess what I'm hoping for as somebody who is a huge Dua Lipa fan, I would love for this to be like a transitional album. Because I think with Future Nostalgia, she showed that she can do perfect pop. Like that's just like that is pop music in its essence. And I think that this is her trying to branch out a bit from that. And I guess what I hope for the next record is that she just kind of commits a bit more fully. I think if that commitment had like if this actually was a trip hop record, I think that would be so cool. Because I think she would also sound like really interesting with that kind of
It would
production.
it would be so cool because it's also like she's also one of the few primarily alto voices in like female pop music. So I'm like, ugh. Like when I saw Trip
Yeah.
Hop, I'm like, I felt it's like I fell to my knees and was like,
What
yes, this is
what is
awesome.
that?
So like imagine I mean, I don't know, because it's like I've listened to a fair amount of trip hop, and I'm like, oh God, how do I
So
describe it?
like what's an example?
Well, so do you remember when I was like, it was on the Ray of Light episode where I my hot track was a song by Massive Attack.
Oh yeah,
Massive Attack
I
is like
didn't
a
listen.
big, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they claim the genre necessarily. I think they're kind of in that zone of like, oh, we don't agree with where everyone's lumping us into, but like they're kind of garnered as like a big trip hop artist. But it's just something where it's like the beat is a little bit more, um,
Like Ray of
I
Light
don't,
has trip hop elements.
Okay.
yeah, like it's a little bit more like, oh, you got to catch up to it. Like it's kind of unpredictable, more of like a
So
scrappy kind of
the
sound.
definition is a psychedelic fusion of hip hop and
Okay.
electronica with slow tempos and an atmospheric sound. Uh, it's kind of more of an experimental variant of electronic music, and it originated in Britain. Uh, yeah, it's Massive Attack is kind of the big like
Yeah.
example of what that sound would be.
You know what I want Miss Dua to do? Girl,
What?
get her. I want like Dua's version of Von Dutch. Like I want Dua to do like something like that.
Do a like club
Like
rat.
yeah, like get H.E. Cook and Dua together.
I don't know. I just need her to do something. I need her to, and I want her to
It
commit fully to it.
yeah, it needs to be like I need an all lowercase Dua Lipa album.
Where's Duo's folklore?
No,
Well,
not
we
that.
don't. I don't know if we need that.
I
Satire,
I
satire, satire, satire.
I want her to do something that doesn't feel like extremely polished.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
that
That's
makes
that's kind
fair.
of
sense.
an issue a little bit.
Well, and then, but I think that the influences that she was talking about kind of give you that vibe. And I kind of got that vibe
Yeah.
visually from the single art that Maria was talking about. Like, there is this kind of grungier, grittier element that I thought was so interesting. And then I'm also going to be honest, like, sun-baked aesthetics both visually and I guess like sonics are not my favorite. Like Solar Power by Lord is like an exception to that, but also that album is really depressing. Like I'm just not into the whole kind of like beachy suntanned. That's just not my vibe. Which I guess says more about like my I guess vacationing habits than anything. But so that was also a bit of a letdown because I think that the visual for the album cover is very striking. And I think like it plays into the theme of radical optimism because she's radically and optimistically swimming while a shark is coming at her and she's gonna stay swimming anyways. Like I think that's cool. But I like cohesion in pop eras. Like I like when the single art reflects the album
Yeah.
cover art. Like that's one of my favorite things when a pop era does that. And so it's just disappointing. And also I love the visuals of Future Nostalgia. That's my favorite thing about that record. I think that is one of the best album covers of all time.
Yeah.
The Future Nostalgia album cover, also shot by the same person who did the Pang album cover.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. And Pang is so good.
Pang is
Oh,
well,
Pang.
I mean it's Pang. It's Pang.
It's Pang.
So that's kind of where I'm at on it. I mean, I'm very happy that we're talking about it because I know that this is an artist that you both love and bond over. I know that this is an album that I think you guys both champion, even though it has been flop-teened. I wish that I was joining your crusade for radical optimism. I support you being radically optimistic. I think it is great to be optimistic radically, especially in these trying times and in the new year. It just it didn't do it for me personally.
We see you and we hear you and we accept your opinion.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Alrighty. Well, I'll kind of round us out here with the rest of my thoughts. Which I kind of went into some of my own personal opinions when I was giving the album background here, but as has been alluded to, I am a fan of this album. I like it a whole lot. And sometimes it's easy for me to forget how into certain things I am once I'm a little bit far removed from being really into that thing. Um, and it's like thinking back and just reflecting on when this came out in 2024, it's just like, oh my God, I forgot how like extremely, extremely on board I was for every single creative decision and like everything going on. I mean, I still like the era and like the album and I'm like still here for it, but I was like really into it. To the point where I was like, I love the Dua red hair situation so much, where I was like, oh my gosh, should I get one of like the temporary like hair mask hair dye situations and put like a red undertone in my hair? Like I was like one button away on my
I
phone
love
from
the
doing
red.
that. I love the red so much. It's so cool. It's literally so cool. So I almost did that. And then I almost bought a hefty piece of merch from the album because she
Story
did
of
like
Maria's
a,
life.
yeah, it's me almost making really cool purchases and then never doing it. But yeah, she had on the site a like a tracksuit jacket that was blue, and then it said Radical Optimism across the chest, and I thought it was so cool and also very functional. Um, but I
Imagine
can't
you rolling
remember.
up to dance in that.
Yeah, because then it's like I bought it when I was like, this isn't flopping. And then it flopped. And then can you imagine me walking around? It's like everyone's like, oh my God, girl, that album flopped. What are you doing? Which I would be radically optimistic about not caring about what other people think. So, I wouldn't have cared about other people's opinions, period.
Stick it to the haters.
Right. But yeah, I almost bought that. I still think it would have been cool, but I'm kind of glad I didn't buy it. But yeah, I mean, I would say kind of to pick up on like the personality piece that you're talking about, Levi. I agree with that 100%. I would say really like the essence of her personality that I think comes through the most, or maybe like the primary thing that like kind of leads through all of that is just Dua being the ultimate cool girl, the ultimate coolest girl ever, unattainably cool. You will never be as cool as Dua Lipa. You will never go on as many cool vacations as Dua Lipa. Like to me, that's what comes across as like the ultimate cool girl. So I'm like, oh man, I gotta match that cool vibe of Dua Lipa. Like I want to do my hair with the red and all of it. So like that's just kind of where I was at like earlier last year. Um, so yeah, again, I mean, still on board with all like the creative decisions and well, not well, wait, let me go back. I enjoy the creative decisions despite there not being a strong through line of cohesion. And just our conversation right now is just making me just feel like, ugh, like if they had gone with the vibe that it started out with, and maybe we didn't tread into this aquatic territory, I just want to know what that would have been like. I think it would have been
But then,
so, so
like,
cool.
if all of the visuals matched the like Houdini artwork, and then we got this, and it's the same 11 tracks, it would have been way worse, right? Like, we would have been mad.
Well, yeah, but I also think that I agree with Maria that they made significant changes to the album in the lead
Yeah.
up. I don't think there's any, it doesn't make sense to me that there wasn't some big shifts because it's just the what we ended up with is just so far away from what was
Yeah.
teased. And I think that the people working with Dua Lipa and Dua Lipa's studio label and her, I think they're all too smart to like so completely miscategorize an album. Like I think that there were some big shifts happening personally, but
Yeah.
obviously we don't have any proof.
Yeah. And it's just interesting too with all of that because I feel like of all people in like this, A-list pop sphere, that it's always Dua Lipa that has to encounter all these weird, crazy, random, unpredictable pitfalls. Like I mean, this was the only era of Dua Lipa where she wasn't on an Instagram live crying because the music got leaked. So, I mean, maybe that was like the first misstep in the era, who knows? But like, I mean, her massive, massive hit remix, Levitating with DaBaby, like instantly had to get redacted because he said very unsavory things. And then she
Forgot
had
about
to,
that.
yeah. And then she's like, hey, by the way, the person that is out there saying these things is vastly different from the person I was working with when we did this remix and all of that. So she, stepped
She
up
kind of
and
has
did
that.
good.
I haven't even realized that.
Yeah, it's like she always is encountering all of these like random crazy like wrenches that get thrown into these eras for her. And I think something that happened this era that's kind of funny as well is that when it was announced the album cover and the album
Oh
title and
yeah.
all the supplementary everything, on the website it was like, oh, here's what the album cover, like the vinyl looks like, and here's what the gatefold is. And all of the lyrics to all of the songs got leaked through the actual photos of the gatefold of the album because it was on all of these like inserts in the album. So like all of the lyrics instantly got leaked. And it's like, of course her own team would leak the lyrics to the album. Like of all people, it's Dua. So
What were we doing?
what are we doing?
Who
You know
who
what?
made
You know
that
what Dua
choice?
needs besides AG Cook and like whatever you guys are talking about? She needs like a really good female collab, like a pop female collab. Don't y'all
Although I
Prisoners,
think?
feel like
prisoners.
she's had a fair amount, I feel. Like she's had
Just the
Kylie
Miley
Minogue.
one.
She's had
Oh,
Kylie Minogue.
wait, really?
Yeah, Kylie Minogue released an album in 2020 or 2021, and there's a Dua feature on it, and it's actually pretty
But
good.
like a big one, like a
Yeah,
top
girl.
10 kind of
He's
thing.
saying that he wants like a hit.
Like a hit,
Right.
yeah. Like
Um,
get her with Gaga, get her with like Charlie, get her
But I
with
can't, well, technically she was with Charlie, if you think about it.
oh
But
Tom,
I don't like I don't see a
uncredited.
I'd uncredited it, but I don't, of course Dua Lipa would have an uncredited feature of all people. But it's like I don't see a universe where there's like a Gaga Dua song or a Dua Katie song or a
yeah, I'm gonna
Dua
be honest. I
Taylor
don't
song,
really see
obviously.
like I don't see what a Dua Gaga song would sound like.
Or
Yeah.
I wasn't specifically thinking like of what a
Yeah.
song like with them could be like, but like
But
I just
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture her with other pop girls, and I don't know. I just
I
can't
mean
think
like
of somebody
maybe
who.
Ariana, maybe Ariana.
Yeah, I guess if Ariana's doing
or
like a
like
club song.
yeah. I don't know. I just
I
feel like
thought you were
she
gonna say
needs
like
like
if Ariana's doing like charity work, she would do it. That's it was like leading up
No,
for you to say that.
I want to give.
her and I mean this isn't a female, but like her and Troy would make good music, I think.
I think
Well, yeah,
so.
but that's not what you were talking about.
I know, like
Girl,
she
that's
just
not a
needs
hit.
like it's like she needs a hit collab or
Well, it
something.
also
Like
killed me when you're like, yeah, we need like a hit, like a top 10. Like, put her with Charlie. I was like, well, I thought we wanted to get a hit. Like, what are we, do we want to get a
if
hit or do we
she
want her to be with Charlie?
I feel like if she like
Wait,
did a collab with someone and it was able to be like manifested in a great way, I think that could help. That's not because I want it to be a collab that's not directly with any of her own works that she has to like make a cohesive album with, if that makes sense.
guys, we're so silly. She needs to collab with Mr. Mars, Mr. Bruno Mars. Mr. Mars would save her.
No, because then she'd put it on the album.
He honestly,
Oh,
I actually, though, out of all the things, I kind of see that the most.
or like
Yes.
maybe like a Billy collab?
No.
What would that be?
No.
Girl, I don't know. I'm trying to help her. I always just think like if I
Bruno,
were this
I think
person's
Bruno. She needs to call up the Hooligans. Bruno,
Yeah.
I think Bruno. I
She needs
actually like imagine her in a song like 24 Karat Magic. I think she would sound really good in a song like that.
yeah.
I think as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Or we could put her with Adele, see what happens.
Or like put her on like a share Christmas smash or something. Like
DJ play a
Drew, your
Christmas
idea
song.
of what a hit song is insane.
If she wants a Grammy, maybe she could call up Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, that's too soon, Maria. That wasn't funny. Too
Wait,
soon.
she
why
beat
wasn't that
All
funny?
Too Well 10-minute
You'd be
version.
all too well.
Oh, well,
Stupid
yes,
fucking
because she won the Grammy. That's why I said that. I thought I
Yeah.
was like, you scared me, like I was crossing some uncrossable boundary in
yeah,
like
don't
life and
Body
death.
Rate,
She's canceled
don't
actually.
yeah, don't fuck with me about Body Rate. I don't mess with her.
You might Levi, my heart skipped a beat because I got so
I
scared.
think I think everyone who
Maria, why are you so
knew
scared of me? This is
I
why
think
this why
when
do I elicit such fear in you?
when Bonnie Raitt won, I think there was for everyone that like knew Levi, I think there was like a oh, like a cohesive like oh, he's not
It
gonna
just
be
was like,
okay.
what was that? Like, why did that happen? I mean,
Yeah,
well, do you want to know what the real equivalent of that was? I had multiple wellness checks after Kristen Stewart lost the Oscar,
yeah,
which were warranted.
yeah.
Let's just
Yes.
say that.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know
I
what she
have
needs. Yeah.
some other thoughts just to round us out here. But something I will say, which is kind of a funny little anecdote, is I was catching up with my good friend Wyatt, and as we were together, I had
Friend of the
gotten a
pod,
text,
Wyatt, friend of the pod,
friend of the
friend of the
pod
pod.
Wyatt.
Also huge Dua stan.
He is.
Dua Lipa is
Oh
his
my
favorite pop
God.
star, period. Full
Oh,
stop. Yeah.
that's so
So,
interesting. He does not look like a love.
well, learn something every day. So I was catching up a while ago with my with friend of the pod Wyatt, and as we were together, I had gotten a text from a guy who I was like consistently going on dates with, and then ghosted me. And then he was like, "Hey Maria, what's up?" And I was like, "No, this is a ton of crap." And it was like right after Houdini came out. So Wyatt and I were just talking about how crazy this development was. And I just shouted out loud. I was like, "Catch me or I go Houdini. I'm not texting you back." And so now that's like something that we say to each other of like, "Catch me or I go Houdini," like all mad.
The whole line.
The whole thing. So that's kind of funny. Um,
Power
but
to
I
you,
will say,
Maria.
sorry.
Oh, I was just saying power to you. I was encouraging
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
There are some iconic quotes on this. Like, how long?
Oh, how long? Yeah, that's so because that song, it's like it's when it starts, it's just so abrupt. And she's like, "Oh my God." That was the song where it's like, let's not forget that Dua Lipa is a singer, or she's telling us that
Also,
she's a
I
singer.
love in End of an Era when she goes, here she is again. Like in the
Oh,
British. Like, come
so good.
on.
So good.
That's pop.
The spoken word in that song is just like I live
She
so
is a
hard.
great voice for spoken word stuff. She is a great voice for
Yeah.
spoken
I
word.
will say, speaking of her voice though, pretty consistently throughout this album and also in a lot of the songs that I really like, she kind of does this like cursive singing thing, which I hate.
Wait, what songs are you referencing?
Like end of an era. Like think when she's like, this could be the end of an era. Who knows, baby? This could be forever and ever.
I don't really hear it in that.
She's doing it. She is doing it.
You know who does that all the time? Who you like?
Why am I in it?
Miss FKA Twigs. Girl only sings cursive.
No, she's medieval.
She's she's
She's
asexual.
writing scrolls on parchment.
It's the pinnacle of experience over there, of human
Yeah.
experience.
You're like Julie, but hate when you do that. Viva FKA Twigs only does that.
She
Well,
also
okay, I don't know
doesn't
about
though. I
that.
don't think she does.
I don't think so either. But like I was about to
Because
say to
it's a
punctuate my point.
pronunciation thing. It's not a tone thing.
Yes, but I was going to say about the cursive singing is that um she is like I think the one person that could do it really consistently and really predominantly that I could be like, okay, girl, for you, I'm gonna let it slide. Because it's like really, because she also does it a little bit on Future Nostalgia, like I think most notably on like Hallucinate, where she kind of gets like squeaky cursive-y, and I'm like, ugh, I just don't know. I don't know. So I don't really like when she does
I don't
that,
know.
but
I
it's
don't
like,
get it from her. I mean, I get that you don't like it, and I don't like Krista singing either. But I
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, why'd you have to drag Miss Twigs into it? She's just off doing
Well,
her
because
own thing.
that's what I don't like about some of her songs.
I don't
And
get
then
that
when you
vibe from
said it,
her.
it
To
triggered
me, she's
me.
like Baroque. She's like is like a church choir.
Yeah.
I see stained glass when she sings.
That's so highbrow.
I wait, Levi, you've seen the like yeah, because I put it in the group chat. I love the whole trend of like leaning against a car
Oh yeah,
window
yeah,
and
yeah.
sleeping to the chorus of
With you
You
sexual.
Eusexia.
sexua. Uh, I love her. Talk about another a cool girl. I think that she is
Very cool
to
girl.
Ultimate
me,
cool
she's the
girl, Twigs.
coolest that exists.
I'm gonna ask this knowing that the answer is no, but did you guys see The Crow with Twigs and Bill Skarsgård?
Well, no.
Okay.
No. What
But
is
you guys,
Do you
that?
you
want to know
knew
what
that
I
she
am?
was in the movie, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you want to know what I am excited for? The movie that is coming out where she plays, it's a horror film about Jesus' childhood, and she's Mary. And I believe Joseph is Nick Cage.
Girl.
How did I not know? My jaw was on the floor just then. How did I not know about this?
I don't know how you
Is
What's
didn't
it
she
know
a good
called?
this.
actress?
I didn't see the Shia LaBeouf movie. Did you, Maria?
No.
Yeah, it's called The Carpenter's Son. It's a French-American horror film. Nicolas Cage is the carpenter. FK Twigs is the mother.
That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
that's a serve, I have to
She,
say.
I think she was sufficient in The Crow, but The Crow was also bad because it's a remake of the original Crow, The Crow. If you guys are familiar with The Crow.
Oh, and she's also in Mother Mary, the new movie with Anne
Yes, okay, I
Hathaway
did know
coming
that.
out,
I was gonna say
and Michaela
I
Cole.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh
I'm
my God.
well, we're seated for that.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
seated so hard.
I mean, I think,
Um,
well, I mean, this isn't the same, but I think she's a great actress in her music videos,
oh well, yes. Oh my gosh, so good.
which is
So
kind of
good.
its own thing. Like, it's kind of
Yeah.
separate from normal. Because Taylor's a great music video actress,
Yeah,
and then you
great
you give her
actress.
a line of dialogue to say, and she's the worst actress in the world. Well, she can't deliver her line to save her life.
Well, yes.
Do not let. She would do great in silent film. Okay, Maria.
Original Nosferatu.
Yeah, I would love to see her take on Count Orlok.
Her take on Ellen.
Honest, oh, she could serve, I actually think.
I actually think there's a chance.
I think there's a chance that she could serve in a silent film version of it.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay.
Not with the
Well,
monologues. Please continue, though.
yeah, well, I think we can just go ahead and get into our Holy Trinities, our favorite songs, and then our me's, our least favorite songs. So, Drew, do you want to go first?
Yeah, are we doing both of them at the same time?
I would say like let's start with the me and then go three, two, one.
Okay. My me is Illusion. I don't hate it at all. I actually like the song. But kind of what was alluded to, I think Levi was talking about it. It does kind of steer a little too similar to Future Nostalgia for me. Um, I think it could have been not on the album, and I don't think it would have mattered. Um, but I like it, and it's like a bop, and I love the music video. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, my me.
Yeah.
Well, I was scared. I'm gonna be honest to pick a me because every time I thought of one, I was like, oh, I bet they love this song. And I think I'm doing one that I think you guys love, but I just don't like how it sounds. It's not that I don't like it. That's not the right thing. It's that I can't remember what it sounds like every time I'm not listening to it. And I just don't think the melody's that compelling. I don't like the verse melody. I don't really know if she sounds the best on it, in my opinion. And it's just my opinion, and please don't get mad at me, but it is French Exit.
Girl, get out of here.
I think Drew's more torn up about that than I am, but that's a
Girl,
crazy one to pick. That's okay though. It's okay. Pop Girlies.
It's not for me. It's not
girl,
my, well, and I'm gonna be so real. Another contender was Maria, but I could not pick
girl, you
the
really
name of
are. Girl,
my fellow
you're
pop
listening to a
girly.
different thing.
Yeah, if you did that,
Maybe
I would have shut my laptop.
maybe there's a different Apple Music version than
Yeah,
Spotify.
there is, because that's cray cray. You like Illusion better than French Exit?
Much more. Yeah. I think it's a
Well, it
much better
sounds like
Ugh.
song.
future nostalgia, so of course he likes it more.
Oh, right, right.
Well, and I think the melody's better. Like, I just think the melody's a lot better and stronger. I think it's derivative of Future Nostalgia for sure, but I think as a song, yeah, I like it more. And I remember what it sounds like. I couldn't tell you what French Exit sounds like, and I've listened to it. It's honestly probably the song I've listened to the most because I keep listening it back to it, trying to be like, what the fuck does this one sound like?
OMG. Well, it's okay.
Drew is trying to figure out how to
Girl,
kick
that's
me out of the pod
great,
right now.
right? No, I love that song.
I'm gonna log in tomorrow, try to log into Instagram tomorrow, and like the passwords are gonna be changed.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Hey Maria, what's your me?
Well, My Me is definitely my least listened to track, least memorable for me. In my opinion, like I understand this from like a lyrical perspective, but I personally think this one could have been chopped. And I just never choose to listen to it ever. And someone's gonna be mad about it, but it's Anything for Love.
I knew that you were gonna say that.
Girl,
That's
this is
why.
a Let's Hate on Drew episode. What the hell?
Maria, I honestly knew listening to the album back that you were not gonna vibe with that one.
That's not my vibe. Like I think if the lyrics to that song got taken out of that song and put into a completely sonically different song, I would have been like, well, heck yeah.
So I think that like if the song was completely different and not at all what it is, that I would really
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, but what
So
I'm saying
imagine,
is
okay, so
though,
imagine if you take this song and then you make it completely different and change everything about it. Then I think it would be good.
what I'm sure. What I'm am trying to get across is I'm like, I think the narrative of that song, I think still has relevancy in terms of the story that the
Yeah.
album's telling, but I would have liked for it to sound different. So, all right, Drew.
Drew, I'm with you. That song was higher up for me in my ranking.
Yeah. Okay, so do I go into my three?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So my number three is Anything for Love.
Right.
Weird.
The song, it's like a song I can, like, when I listen to it, there's also a movie in my mind. Like, I'm watching her in the studio, just like by herself, and then like Kevin Parker looking at her from the other side of the glass, and her just going, okay, should we try it? Like in the thing at the beginning, and then her just
Yeah.
like jamming, like seated down with the headphones on, seated over a mic, and then just like laying it all down at once. So actually, like that song like conveys imagery. So I don't really know.
Never said that, but okay.
My number two is French Exit. I love that song because it reminds me, it's like a more sophisticated Fever.
Oh,
Do
you
you know
love
that
that
song?
song. Yeah, and I know that you love
Love
that song.
Fever.
Drew and I queened out so hard at the concert to that song.
Yeah, that
So
song,
hard.
girl, she was like basically making out with all of the dancers to that song. It was
Queen out.
cleaned out. So yeah, I love French Exit. I love when she speaks French and that chorus turns up. So,
Turns up.
but I love you, Levi.
Well, I love you too, obviously. How do you say it in French? Alex, how do you say I love you in French? Je t'aime?
Je t'aime.
Je t'aime. Je t'aime, Drew. Love you.
And then my number
Love.
one is These Walls. I
Oh my
think that's my
God.
favorite Dua Lipa song.
I didn't know that one was so high for you.
Yeah, that song is so good.
Love.
So yeah.
Levi.
Okay, so my three, by far my favorite, my third, my by far my favorite of the singles, and one of my favorite Dua Lipa songs is Training Season. I think Training Season is so cool. I If I had to pick, that would probably be my pick for lead single. Because I think it's more different from Future Nostalgia than Houdini is. I don't know why. I just love that there's a song like that with the word rodeo in it. I just find that like I think it's interesting to have like that cowboy imagery in a song that like is so not Western at all. Like I just think that's really interesting. And I think the concept of training season and it being over is
I knew you were
is
gonna say that. And it being
why.
over. I knew you were gonna set that up and say, and it
Also,
being over.
like what the hell was her team doing when she was promoting a song called Training Season during the fucking Olympics and it not being a part of any Olympics content?
She's They were they hate her, have to. They were trying to
Like
sabotage
literally,
her.
they hate her.
So that's my number three. I think that's a really great song. My number two is Falling Forever. I think that song, okay, come stay with me. To me, that song is a Celine Dion power ballad.
I
The
see that.
way that she sings the chorus and when those drums are in the background that sound like horse hooves, I just see
Uh-huh.
her like with open arms and I see like Celine going, "Shall we go for it?" And then like singing it. Like I just I kind of now want like Dua to do a 90s diva album. Like I would be so
Uh-huh.
on board for a 90s diva album.
That
Dua
song,
doing I Drove All Night.
Yeah, like a Dua I Drove All Night would be, and I think like if she like put elements of her on that 90s diva album and like a Mariah influence. Like, could you imagine
Yeah.
Dua doing like Fantasy or like
Yeah.
Always Be My Baby?
she
Like,
could
I
so
think
do
that would
that.
be, I think that'd be so cool. And it'd be so interesting and different from her previous things. Yeah, I just think that that song also, it shows off her vocals in a way that she never normally does.
Yeah.
Like, she's normally missed just kind of like, one two note variation. Like I'm not going to give you much like showmanship, but she was really, I mean, she sounds amazing. She sounds so good.
I
Yeah.
that song I love, but it I think I honestly like makes it lower for me because I can't stop laughing every time she does
How
the
long?
how long.
How long?
That song is so cool though, because like the rolling kind of drums in it also give me such like a running up that hill, Kate Bush kind of vibe.
Yeah, there's something like for me, it's like I'm on, okay, you know the horse from Spirit, the movie Spirit? That's what I
Hmm.
think of. I'm riding that horse and it's sunset and we're on a green hill and there's forest trees around us. That's what I think of. And like I'm in a flowy, well, because in this case I'm Dua Lipa. And so then I'm in a flowy white dress and like it's like flowing behind me in the wind. That's to me that song. And but then I'm Dua Lipa as Celine Dion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's making me,
So
your imagery there is making me think of what's the song in Mamma Mia that she sings on the cliff with the
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 winner
winner
shawl?
takes it
takes it
all.
all.
Yeah, that's the imagery
Yes.
you gave me.
Oh, the peak of acting.
Peak of
So,
acting.
and then my number one, I agree with Drew. It's easy. These walls. I
Oh
think
my
that's
God.
easily the standout, like by a large
Yeah.
margin. I
Her
think that song
performing it
is.
too is insane.
I think that song is excellent. And if the entire album sounded like that, I would have been so on board. I think that sound suits her so well. I think that kind of talking to what you were saying, Maria, about the sophistication, to me, that's a sophisticated song. Like, that's when I get that.
Yes.
I don't get it from a lot of the other moments on the record. I'm going to be so real and honest. But the
We
way
didn't
that, like,
we thought that this was like lyrical peak for you.
oh, it's not. I'm so sorry. But uh I think the way that that song is written is it's very elegant, I think, and it's interesting narratively, like the story that she's painting. Again, there's that kind of like call and response element with the background vocals on the chorus that I really, really respond to. So yeah, to me, that's an easy number one.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I actually have a top three of songs that no one has mentioned. So,
Dun dun dun.
okay. So my number three is going to be Houdini
I knew that
because,
Houdini was going to be in yours.
I
I
know
knew it.
too.
well, glad I'm so predictable. But I, no. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think I'm pretty outspoken about liking that song a whole bunch. And yeah,
You
I
take
still
a
think it's,
stand for Houdini. You are an
yes,
outspoken Houdini advocate.
yes. Yeah, hashtag stream Houdini on Spotify every day.
You come and then you go.
Houdini. So yeah. So, and what's the quote from Drag Race where it's like, no one says that, but yes, that's
That's
that.
the
I
quote.
think it's exactly that.
It's funny though, because like while I like a lot of these, I mean, obviously I like these songs, but I feel like sometimes Dua says like the way that she phrased certain things, it's like no one says that, but yes. It's like no one says catch me or I go Houdini, but like it works somehow. And also, no one says training season's over. Like, no one says that, but yes. So, whatever, you know? So Houdini, number three. I still think it's a really strong lead single.
Whereas, like,
Number,
song lyrics are things that I would say in normal conversation. So, like, why?
Maria,
so
you
why?
stand an artist that has released the song Swine. Like, I don't understand where that was coming
Well,
from.
well,
Well, like, I don't go around saying you're just a pig inside a human body, babes.
I mean, we could start Justice for Art Pop. We need to start saying these things again.
I've been saying
God,
it.
please.
Art
God.
police.
There's a warrant out for my arrest as we speak.
Sometimes, okay, admittedly, sometimes I am a little bit art policey because we all know how much I don't like the word department. And that's kind of how I feel about some of these
Well,
little Dua Lipa isms.
we don't need to
But
be reminded.
I,
Girl, she literally has a song called What You Doing, which is what you say.
that's not what I'm
What?
talking
What?
about, though. Oh my God. Okay. 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 Okay.
We're
Close the book.
misunderstanding you.
Close the
We
book.
are.
Yep. Number two. Number two is the namesake song, Maria.
So can you walk me through it? Because I don't get it at all.
Uh, it's
What?
Maria's the other girl.
No, I
I'm the
understand the narrative, and I know that your name is Maria, but besides those things, describe the
Nice.
appeal of
Besides those things.
sorry.
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
I wanted to be Aussie. Um, describe the appeal of the song to me, please, because I don't get it at
It's the
all.
chorus melody. It's so good.
The chorus
Maria.
melody is really good. And the song is good and it has my name in it.
I mean, I love that
Clunk.
it has your name in it, but
I also love how
I
it's like a song about the other woman, but it's like a joyful song. Like it's like
yeah, I like the
I don't know.
concept. Good
I like
concept.
the concept too.
Yeah, I like the concept a lot. For me, melodically, I'm not
Oh,
getting
see,
it.
maybe just maybe it just doesn't click for you with the melodies because I love that melody.
Yeah, the melody, I'm not getting the melody of the song.
You don't immediately jump up when she just goes, Maria.
Never been more sat down.
Well, that's crazy.
Okay.
The bridge when she does
Sorry,
the scale up.
I feel like we're stealing Maria's joy and her top three.
No. No, when the
I
no,
am
I
not stealing Maria's joy.
the bridge when she does the like the scale, when she does Maria, Maria, Maria. You don't like that?
To be honest with you, I don't remember that, and I've listened to the song so many times. It
Okay.
doesn't stand out for me. The back half of the album is a little slower.
Skill issue.
It's
Next.
maybe I'm just not good at listening.
I'm kidding. I tease. I tease. No, but that's fine. I mean, if you like, I totally understand if you don't like the certain melodies. Like, I don't need you to like it. That's totally fine.
But it's so cool that
I
an
enjoy
artist
that my
that you
name's in
love
it.
has your name in a song. That's so cool.
I enjoy my name being in it. So
Girl, your name is it.
Yeah, your name is it. It's not in
it's
it. It is
it.
the song.
It's it. So there we
You
go.
were you were you were on that hill the whole time that the track list was announced and before we could list, you were
I
like,
was so sad. I think I was in a meeting when the track list got announced, and then I came back to my phone and I was like, oh my God. Because I think our group chat was popping off because it's like, wait until Maria sees. And I was like, what is it? And then I saw it. I was like, oh my God.
well, and then when the lyrics got leaked from the vinyl, you were like, just gotta say, the Maria lyrics look really good.
Well, yes. Oh my
Because Dua
gosh.
Lipa is famously a poet,
Yeah, absolutely.
according to
Robert,
Levi.
she's Robert Frost. So Maria, I kind of don't know what your number one's gonna be.
Yeah, I think I do actually.
I think Drew. I bet what you're thinking, Drew, is probably correct.
Can I make a guess before you say
Yes,
it? I'm gonna guess end of an era.
you'd be correct.
Did I get right?
Here she goes again.
Yes, you were right.
I
I think
kind of
that's such a
remember you talking about that.
yes. Yeah, yeah. No, I like that song a ton, and I think it's a very fun album opener. I love the spoken word in it so much.
Oh,
And it has such like a sparkly, glittery kind of sheen on the whole song. And I think it's so really fun to listen to. So that song I really like. So yeah, that's my number one. Not much else to say. I mean, again, like cursive singing aside, like she can slide with that. It's not my favorite, and sometimes I just kind of have to turn my brain off so I like don't hear it a ton. But yeah, it's still my favorite song on the album. I think it's so fun. And I just like on my first listen, I was like, this is so fun. I'm so glad this is the first song. So yeah. And I also would say I'll just add quickly. I think this like the bookends of the album are cool because we have like end of an era, very optimistic perspective on a breakup. And then with the final song being Happy for You, it's like very much a powerful ballad of like, hey, this person's not in my life anymore. We broke up, but I'm still going to be really happy for whatever they do in the future. And I'll be kind of cheering them on from the sidelines. Like, again, very mature take on that sort of thing. So I appreciated the bookends of it. But yeah, End of an Era is my favorite song on it.
Yay!
Woo. Okay, Drew, so let's go into the utensils drawer and figure out what our ratings are going to be with the Drew fork, Levi knife,
yeah.
Maria spoon.
So I really like this. I think it's just like I think I'm gonna give it an 8.8
Ooh.
because I
Very
really like
good.
it. It just is like just barely not the 9.
Yeah,
Good score. Young score. Good score.
cool. Well, for me, this is going to be, I'm putting it at an 8.5. Because while I like Dua Lipa a whole bunch, I'm not really sure if any of her albums are gonna get past the 9.0 for me. Um, but I really like this album, and I don't really have a hard time listening to it, regardless of some of these like rocky obstacles that got us to the final product is what it is, regardless of what we might have gotten in a different timeline. But yeah, I still really like it. So yeah.
It's interesting because like I guess we're not because the tour hasn't happened yet. But like since we're past the like promotional release of it and we're just left with the music, it's like so much better than having to like listen to it in the whole concept and
Hmm.
yeah, it was nice to go back to it at least for me.
Yeah, I agree. Levi knife.
Oh, I was having a hard time figuring out where I want to put it. The number that I keep coming back to is lower than yours, both of yours.
Yes.
It's a 6.1. Um, to me, like I still enjoy it's enjoyable. Sixes is like it's better than fives. It's better than like it's just not my cup of tea. And I think that like subjectively it's not my cup of tea, but also objectively I just think there's like too many things that don't fully gel together. But it's very pleasant to listen to. There are things that I like. I don't like dislike any of the songs. So like that's why it's not going any lower than that. But I don't think I can justify it going higher than that because I think that there's just too many things that don't work for me and are not for me. So 6.1 is where I'm gonna land. I'm so sorry to be the naysayer. But that gives us an average of 7.8. So that's higher than the Metacritic score.
Nice.
I kind of tanked
Nice.
it, not gonna lie.
Hold my hand,
Uh,
Tank.
Well, at least for subjectivity,
so
we don't have a completely biased take on Dua Lipa.
what?
What?
What does
I'm
that mean?
saying for the subjectivity of journalism, the three of us don't have a completely unified biased take on Dua
Oh yeah,
Lipa.
this is not like a pro Dua Lipa propaganda. There's
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's room for
well,
other opinions.
The way
Maria,
you said
what
that
you
was just
said.
funny.
Yeah, I didn't get what you said. I wasn't following at all. Like I wish that the listeners could like see our faces because like Drew and I were just both like, huh?
It's so funny because I said I'm like, this makes perfect sense, and clearly it didn't.
That I mean, it literally. You could have been speaking Mandarin, and I would have understood just as much.
Great. Well,
Well,
Well.
We had it.
Well, we had it. Let's find out what our
Well,
next
I
episode
got
is.
it.
Well, I
Okay.
got it.
So the next episode is honestly a similar kind of thing. We're doing a flop album again. Um, but this is honestly an episode that Levi and I like. I think like what 3 years ago,
More than that, it would have been.
more than that.
It would have been like during our. It would have been like 4 years ago,
Yeah. So like
four
when
or
we
five
first
years
started
ago.
talking about the podcast, we were like, this is going to be the episode that is like the ultimate. And I feel like we are at a point where doing the episode now is like we're in the swing of it and we can do it. But make sure to listen to it beforehand. It is Romance by Camila Cabello, her sophomore slump.
I cannot tell you the amount of hours of my life that I have dedicated to talking about this album with Drew.
Yeah.
Like it's. I
And I
wouldn't have talked
cannot
about
wait to
anything as
hear what
much as
Maria
this.
thinks about it.
It's
I
gonna
kind
be an
of
adventure for sure.
Maria, but it's I there's so many possibilities in how you could be, to be honest with you. I could see you having so many different reactions.
We- I can't wait. I might let's just say, having not heard like really any of it, who knows? I might like it more than two of you combined.
Oh,
I like it. So
this gets Maria's first 10 since
yeah.
Renaissance.
It's entire it who knows? It's so
You'll have
exciting
to
that we
come
don't
out
know.
next week to find out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But I
next week,
agree with Drew.
Romance by Camila.
Listen to the album before you
Please,
listen to the
yeah.
episode.
It
Because
will,
I won't make any sense what we're talking
no,
about.
it'll be a fun time if you do too, because we'll be hopefully funny about it. Because it flopped, and Levi and I know how it could have not flopped.
Yeah, we could have saved her. We could have saved
So-
her career.
Yes. So join us next
Okay.
week.
That's it for us, Pop Girlies. So I think it's an end of an era. I think we have to say goodbye. So
Yep.
We need to make a French exit.
yeah, we do.
Oh.
Catch us or we go Houdini.
Yeah, catch me or I go to the next episode of Pop Girlies.
Happy for you, Maria.
Well, Drew, that was just a title. You didn't like make a pun out of it. You just
That was two titles. I said happy for you, Maria.
Oh.
I didn't even catch that because that's her name. That's her
Well,
name.
guys, if these walls could talk, they would say, catch you next week on Pop Girlies.
And
All
goodbye.
right. Shanti.